Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter at Boink Studios and check out our Facebook page where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 57 of the podcast, and if you are joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all those involved, we'll extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Thanks for supporting. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. Episode number 57. How you like them apples? Welcome back to the show, man. I appreciate your business. Thanks for coming back. Glad you are with us today. As we said, episode number 57, this is Tom Clark's Main Event. And we've been very busy as of late doing all sorts of work covering the recent WWE brand split as Thursday Night SmackDown became, I was going to say Tuesday Night SmackDown, but it's actually SmackDown Live. Wait another 2 minutes and it'll change. We got our first glimpse of what Raw looks like now. New set design, new intro music, new intro package, all that good stuff. SmackDown, same deal. There are conflicting reports out there, depending on whose side you fall on, in terms of who had the better show. A lot of people out there are saying Raw knocked it out of the park. A lot of other people saying that SmackDown looked pretty good, all things considered. And I'm hearing the exact opposite about SmackDown from some people, that they were very disappointed with how SmackDown turned out. Raw, on the other hand, full of twists and turns. Finn Balor could very well be the first ever WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. Now, a lot of people hating on that. We're going to touch on that in just a little bit. A lot of people saying it's Finn's time. I'm one of those people, if I'm being honest with you. I've written quite a bit on the brand split, as you guys are probably already aware of. You can see my stuff all over the internet. If you just go check it out, man, I'm just saying, I am everywhere. So please patronize our sites, not just the Boink Studios stuff, but everywhere that you can find yours truly. Again, as we say always, it is greatly appreciated. As we said before, yours truly is covering the brand split and has been since, before it actually happened and after. You can find me on Bleacher Report. Recent columns I've published the pros and cons of Foley and Bryan being named Raw and SmackDown GMs. Seeing this transition to part-time WWE star will be bittersweet for fans. And the latest one, Finn Balor flashes #1 star potential in WWE Raw debut. I've got two more on the way, one on Dean Ambrose and one on the tag team division, the current state of the tag team division in WWE. A lot of things happen on that Raw. As we said, Finn Balor could become the first ever Universal Heavyweight Champion. A lot of controversy around that little nugget, not because of Finn, but because of the title itself. Because a lot of people really turn their nose up at it, and I can understand why. But at the same time, people are and can be very stupid. God bless them. But stupid people make the world go round. I think we can all agree on that one. This is all leading to something. Be patient. You're seeing the title of the episode and you're like, what is this? What is this stuff? What's he on about this time? Well, how about we just quit messing around? We'll touch some more on what happened on Raw with Sasha Banks' win of the WWE Women's Championship. It's about time, by the way. Long time coming. And certain superstars who had something to say about that. And we'll talk some more about other things going on in that company. But let's go ahead and give you the title of this particular episode, as this time the main event is Shoot 'em Down. Now, where did the title come from? Glad you asked. I'm a big fan of Public Enemy, always have been. So if it sounds familiar, shut them down, shut them down. Yes. And also, we that write about the business of pro wrestling and anyone that's familiar with the inner workings of pro wrestling, well, anyone that's watched a promo in the past 2 months can tell you what a shoot is. And for the first time in the history of this show, and I can't say, well, first time might be a bit much. How about this? For the first time in the history of this show, I am dedicating an entire episode to shooting them down, as it were. This is going to be a shoot, and I'll be honest with you. I hadn't really planned on doing this, but there's just been some things happening online lately that's just really starting to get under my skin, and I think things that I just need to say and get off my chest. So, you can call this a gripe session. You can call it, one guy thumbing his nose at everyone else. You can call it one writer sort of taking shots. I'm not going to mention any names. You guys know me well enough by now, hopefully, to know that I'm classier than that. I don't do that. I don't call anyone out in a tweet. I don't call anyone out on social media of any kind. I don't write about anyone, mention anyone by name of any kind. I never have. I could, but I'm not going to because, really there's no point in that. No point in going below the belt, as it were. By the way, real quick, before we get into this, I'm actually watching the Battleground replay of the very moment that Sasha gets in the ring and she's waiting on Bayley's entrance and Sasha breathes because can you imagine her nerves and just in anticipation? And then when Bayley's music hits, the pop that the crowd and Sasha gives that smile and she turns. Dude, it's priceless. I love being a fan. I love this business. My God in heaven. Brings tears to your eyes, doesn't it? The night that Sasha won on Raw brings tears to your eyes. So let's start with that. Let's start with this, okay? Those of you who know me on a personal level kind of know my story, and those of you that don't, how about a really quick background, shall we? My earliest memory on this earth is watching pro wrestling with my dad. Okay, earliest memory I have, and I remember us going to. And you guys know I'm in North Carolina, so the Flair country down here, of course. But I remember us going to some local show. I'm sure it was at the fairgrounds in the town I grew up in. Small town, by the way. Town of around 17,000, I believe it is. I looked that up recently for some weird reason. I was curious. Whereas the town I'm living in now, the city I'm living in now, is around 40,000. Some of you might sneeze at these numbers, depending on where you live. It's okay. It's cool. No worries here, but just out of curiosity's sake, I asked Siri and she done told me, yo. So there you go. But I remember us going to a local show. It's probably at the fairgrounds in the town I grew up in, as I said. And I remember two things about that particular event. And keep in mind, this probably took place when I was around 2 to 3 years old. And I have very vivid memories of being 2 to 3 years old. Even all these years later, I still recall. And I always have. And I hope I never lose those memories, to be honest with you. But with very good reason. But I remember two things about that time, about that show in particular. One was Wahoo McDaniel's headdress, and two was Ric Flair's robe. Now keep in mind, I'm much too young to know exactly what's going on, but I remember I had a ball. I remember me and my dad would watch pro wrestling all the time. I would sit on his lap, and I've told this story before, I'm sure, on the show at some point, but for lack of a better term, we call them midget wrestlers, which now that's little people. That's perfectly fine. But back when I was a kid growing up, they were midget wrestlers. And I was terrified of them. I'm not really sure why. I think it kind of freaked me out, if I'm being honest, because, it was like a grown man, but a little tiny grown man, and it freaked me out. As a 2-3-year-old kid, I didn't know what I was looking at, and it made for some horrifying moments for yours truly. My dad, knowing this, took advantage of it, and he tickled me. I was very ticklish at that time, and maybe I still am, who knows, but he would tickle the crap out of me and laugh his head off. And he's saying stuff like, "They're going to get you, Tom. They're going to come get you. They're going to come get you." And I'm like, stop it. I'm going nuts, But I sort of remember that's how it started. And we watched every Saturday, 6:05 on Superstation on TBS. And Worldwide Wrestling, I think it was, pretty sure it was earlier in the day. It was around noon, I'm wanting to say, Saturday morning perhaps. And I remember those days with just very fond memories of those days, you know. And at the same time, my dad just so happened to be a comic book fan. And I remember us going down to the local Five and Dime, and he would buy a stack of books. When I say a stack, he would buy 5 to 6 at a time. Fill up the car with gas, buy some comic books. We'd go back home. I would sit on the floor, and he's on the couch. He's reading. I'm looking at pictures because I can't read, right? And I remember those days very, very fondly. So, memories tend to stay with you. Okay. When I'm 4.5, I lose my dad to a drunk driver. It forever changes my life. It was 6 days before my 5th birthday. God, in all His infinite wisdom, or whoever's up there, decided that he had to go for whatever insane reason that could have been. And maybe we'll never know. Why do things happen? You know what I'm saying? Don't get nervous. This is still a pro wrestling podcast, man. Don't panic. It's cool. Okay, we'll get back to it. But I guess what I'm saying to you is that we bonded over pro wrestling. My dad wasn't a baseball fan. He didn't care for organized sports. I didn't grow up with Yankees versus the Red Sox on my TV. I didn't grow up with Bears versus Packers. I didn't know about any of that until much, much later in life. I was aware of other sports. I didn't know anything about the NBA until years later. I didn't know anything about really anything besides pro wrestling. Pro wrestling was my sport. It was my organized sport. And it was the one that I watched religiously. And, all those years later, events came along and WWE got massive, and they pulled the curtain down and let everyone see behind the scenes. And he starts calling it sports entertainment. And I never thought about that. It never occurred to me that that's what it was. And in all of my ignorance as a young lad, as a wee fella, I fell for it, and I'm glad I did, because all these years later, I'm still in love with the business, and it's by far one of the major aspects of my life, and it always has been, and it probably always will be, if I'm being honest with you. The business of pro wrestling plays a huge part in who I am as a person. Again, that's what I grew up with. My dad and I connected over it as we did with comic books, hence my love for that medium. And all things science fiction came from that as well. And movies, TV, and all that stuff. And everything just sort of went hand in hand. But my love of music came from my mom. My love of pro wrestling and comics came from my dad. So thank you to both of them, because they contributed to who I am today. And here's what all that means for you. If any of you came to the dance late in terms of being a pro wrestling fan, let's say you were 30 before you saw your first pro wrestling match and you fell in love with it. Let's say you spent your whole life thinking it was a sham, it was a joke. All your friends laughed at it. Why would you waste your time watching it? Pro wrestling's fake, right? So who cares? And then one day you decided to turn on the TV. All of a sudden you're going to be a fan. You're going to come be one of us. Oh, really? Really? Guess what? It's cool. Welcome. Okay? Because we're a pretty good family. We're dysfunctional. We screw up a lot. We make mistakes. We call each other names when we shouldn't. And a lot of times we lose faith in the business. We lose faith in each other. We decide to destroy each other. At least we attempt to. We like to see our idols fall, but at the same time we worship them. And it's a very odd thing, man. We're a very passionate bunch of people. And that's how it is. So welcome to the family. What were you thinking? Oh, man. No, it's cool. It's all good. I don't look down on anyone. All that stuff about, Brock Lesnar didn't grow up a pro wrestling fan. I give two craps about that. You know what I care about? Who's running the show? Who's running the company? Are they pro wrestling fans? Did they grow up with this business, watching this? That's different. You see what I'm saying? You can argue the point all day long and say that each and every wrestler, thank you very much, in the ring needs to have a really solid connection to the business. I would argue that as long as their heart's in what they're doing, that's the most important part. That's how I feel. So I don't look down on anyone for that. But I will say this. There's a lot of crap that we put up with as wrestling fans. The aforementioned word fake, as we have to hear. Can I be honest with you? I don't even like the word scripted. I hate the word scripted. I spent... I'm trying to count it up here. Around excuse me for it being a little hazy here. Around 2 to 3 years when you add it together, okay? It was about a year full-time. Another couple of years part-time when you add it up. So about 3 years total, give or take, of being in this business. And then all that time, not one time, did I hear a referee, a wrestler, a promoter, the guy that rang the bell for us, the guys that broke the ring down for us, the guys that ran the camera for us. No one ever used the word scripted. Not one time. Not one flipping time, folks. But yet, you read dirt sheets, you read columns by so-called pro wrestling writers, and it's all the rage. Scripted. Even though pro wrestling is scripted, shut up, okay? Here's the problem I have. Now, relate this back to, as we said before, the major sports out there. Do you have to have played in the NFL to write about the NFL? Of course not. Don't be silly. Don't be stupid for that matter. It's not necessary. There's plenty of very compelling and very well thought and educated NFL writers out there that you could read religiously on a daily basis and be very informed and feel like you really got not only the inside scoop, but also got a lot of information, got some analysis, okay? Now, the point can be argued, is that expert analysis? Well, Eric Bischoff recently he's got his own podcast now for anyone that cares to know. I'm not going to tell you the name of it. You've got iTunes or Google Play. Go look it up. Have fun with it. I'm back and forth on that guy, by the way. We don't have to get into that right now. I'm just saying. But he's got this quote about the dirt sheets, and he says that I find them to be more credible now than I used to, but I still have a problem. By the way, this is loosely quoting. I still have a problem with these guys who are editorializing as if they're an expert when they've never been in the pro wrestling ring, never been associated with the business on the inside. Okay. Number one, Eric's wrong, as much as he likes to believe he's right. And I'll tell you why. When we sit back as writers, I'm not talking about just fans, I'm talking about pro wrestling writers, analysts. I consider myself an analyst, okay? That's what I am. And I put this on Facebook recently, and I'll tell you right now, okay, in case you missed it. My job as a pro wrestling analyst is to watch the product, to absorb it, to study it, and to give you an analysis of what I just saw, which includes opinionated speculation, okay, on my best guess of years of analyzing this business and analyzing the product that I just watched, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, New Japan, whatever it is. I'm paid to do that. I love to do that. I do it for free. Don't tell the boss that, okay? But that's where I'm coming down at, okay? And that's how I feel. So my job as an analyst is to give you my analysis. That's part of that. That's not part. That's what I am. That's who I am. That's what I do. Okay. Along comes Eric Bischoff and says, you can't do that because you've never been in the business. Well, first of all, I have been in the business. Okay. God bless you, Eric. Do the sign of the cross and all that. Godspeed to you. But you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. But I'll tell you this, even if I had not been physically involved in the business of pro wrestling, who are you to sit there and tell me that I can't be an analyst, okay? Because here's the difference between me and a lot of other guys out there. I'm not saying I'm the exception. You can take this for what it's worth, whatever. The difference between me and a lot of other guys out there is I don't come at you like, this guy sucks, this girl sucks, they all suck, they're sucking together, this is terrible, that'd be stupid. Why haven't they fired John Cena yet? This is nonsense. Fire John Cena, fire John Cena, fire John Cena. And you know what? How come Undertaker's not back? Undertaker just needs to come back. It's ridiculous. Just bring Undertaker back full time. Austin needs to come back. We need the Attitude Era. We need the Attitude Era back again. Dude, you got to stop. Okay? For all those guys out there, if you're listening, or if any of you folks know guys that write that crap, please do me a favor. Go tell them it's crap. Okay? Do you know why these guys are no longer full-time with WWE? Do you have any idea why? Would you like to know? Come close, I'll tell you. Come close, come close. By the way, I stole this gimmick from Kevin Smith. Don't tell him. Come close, come close. It's because they don't want to be anymore. Do you get that? Can all you nutcases out there who think that a second Attitude Era is going to save the world of pro wrestling get this through your stupid, thick heads? It's not going to happen again. As Rick Pitino famously said, right, or to paraphrase Rick Pitino, I should say, Stone Cold ain't walking through that door. The Rock ain't walking through that door unless he's there to hype a movie, unless they're there to be the cover of a game or to run a quick spot at WrestleMania. And I like both guys. Don't misunderstand me here. No offense intended. Here's what I'm saying to you, man. When you're a pro wrestler, you want to be in the main event. Okay? And when you're Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, you better believe you want to be in the main event. I don't care what it is. Now, have they reached out to Austin before? I'm sure they have. I'm sure there's been feelers put out there. There's probably been straight up phone calls from Vince to him or Triple H or whoever saying, dude, we've got a great idea. Main event, WrestleMania. And Austin's like, nah, no thanks. Now, he's beat up, okay? I don't know how many days he wakes up and doesn't feel pain. Probably few and far between, if I'm being honest. And you expect that, don't you? Because I do. I would expect 110% of that all the time, every day, all day, 8 days a week. I think we all would, yes? But he doesn't want to do it, not just because of that, not just because of the bumps and the bruises and that he's getting older and all that stuff. He's been there. He's done that. He has no desire to go back to it. And even if he did, it's probably squashed very, very quickly by the realization I'm not 20 years old anymore. For that matter, I'm not 30 years old anymore. You see what I'm saying? And I can't go back to that again. I've already done that. Dude, they've done everything. What is there to go back to? And it's not to diss on us as fans. It's not to say WWE is not a worthwhile company to work for. Of course it is. If you're one of those boys, I mean, you want to be in the main event. They made you a star, helped make you a star, and open doors for you. You kicked them down as Austin did. Whatever the case may be, I'm not suggesting it's not an ideal situation if you're hungry and in great shape. I mean, Jericho comes back and he spends 6 months to a year, whatever it is. Then he goes again. Then he comes back. I mean, the door's open for him. If Austin said, I want to work a part-time schedule like Chris has got, I'm serious about it, sign me up. They would probably do it. How could they not do it, right? Dude, can you imagine being Stone Cold Steve Austin and being the top money-earning guy in that company and giving that company a rebirth the likes of which fans never thought they'd ever see, and being at the very height of the most profitable era in the history of the industry, being told or understanding and come to the realization that he's going to work part-time now? And he's no longer going to be the full-time face of the company. Someone else is going to be that. He's just going to kind of come around like Brock Lesnar does. If you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, how would that fly with you? Okay? It wouldn't. It wouldn't. The Rock's got a whole life outside the business. So does Austin. Edge can't work again. Shawn doesn't want to work again. Please stop talking about Shawn Michaels coming back. Dude, we have got, and I'm not talking about fans. Listen, man, fans can say and want whatever they want to say and want. They can love who they want to love. It's all good with me. I am still a fan. I can want it all day long. But my message is out there to the writers listening. Stop. Stop. Because, dude, the point has been destroyed. It's been driven home. It's been exhausted. You didn't just beat the dead horse. You beat him beyond recognition. The horse's parents can't recognize. They call the parents' horses to come down and ID the body. Can't do it. Okay, the farmer has no idea who that horse was now. Because you can't stop. The Attitude Era is dead and gone, kids. Let it go. Please, for God's sake, let it go. That's one of my big hang-ups about pro wrestling writers. Maybe not so much about fans. I can tolerate it to a certain point. But when I see it written down, dude, stop. You got to let it go, man. How many of these guys that are running today do you think they really want to hear that? Be current. Get with the times. I'll tell you something else. And again, the whole spiel with the intro of this show about me being a fan, that's the gist of what I'm trying to say here, man, is that we have lost, not only as writers, but fans. We're going to go back to fans now. So if you're just a fan, not a writer, this applies to you. So listen up. I'm talking to you, okay? I'll be nice. Don't worry. I'm gentle. We have forgotten what it's like to just be a fan and have fun. Now, I know what you're saying, Tom. This coming from you, you're a pro wrestling analyst. You break down each and every match that happens each and every week, and you tell me you're still having fun. Dude, I'm having a blast. Why do you think I'm still doing this, man? I've been writing for Bleacher Report for 6 years. You better believe I'm having fun. I love doing this. It's my passion. It's the one thing that it again, as I said earlier, it defines who I am as a person, as a man. That's who I am. Pro wrestling's always on. It's on right now on my TV. My kid knows every show. He knows every wrestler. He knows every promotion thanks to his dad. Okay? And that's how it is. And I love the business. It's not going to stop. Okay? I am able to still watch the product and have fun, but yet provide analysis at the same time. But dude, I'm telling you right now, there are so many people out there as fans that cannot let stuff go. Attitude Era is one of them. And again, man, as I said just now, it's about forgetting how fun this is and stop stressing over every little thing. The Universal Championship, okay? Everybody's having a fit. Everyone's having a fit over the Universal Championship. Do you want to know why? Because it's stupid. It sounds so stupid. Now, this is not just fans. This is fellow writers. Now, to any of you fellow writers out there who are listening who said that I quote, stupid, unquote, don't be too offended because you're not the only one that said it. And how do you know I even saw your tweet to begin with, fool? It could have been anybody. Let's just be honest about it, Ed. Let's be honest about it right now. It irritates me. Would you like to know why? You're WWE, okay? Put yourself in Vince McMahon's, $2,000 shoes. My shoes cost more than your house, all right? Put your feet in Vince McMahon's shoes for one moment and ask yourself this question. Or Triple H, if that makes you feel better. Put yourself in Triple H's black trunks and crown, okay? I'm not ripping on the guy. Shut up. He's worn a crown before. King of Kings, remember? Jesus, calm down. Put yourself in their position and ask yourself this. If you are one of the guys or the guy or whatever it is overseeing the brand split, how do you solve the issue of the World Championship? Because you only have two options. You only have two. Are you listening? Here's your options. One, you have the champion travel between both shows, and it's always compared to the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And that's fine. It is. But God, talk about beating that to death. I've done it too. I'll be honest. But we all get it. The champion, Dean Ambrose, could have traveled between both shows just like Flair did in the territory days. And, holy crap, what a great day this is for the business. And let's have this. And Dean can be on whatever show he wants to. And bam, there he is. Awesome. Second choice is to create, okay, crap, there's three choices. The first one, is to have the traveling champion, as we just said. Thank you very much. But choice number two is to either create or split up the undisputed championship of the world once again. Okay. Now, one option I will dismiss right away if I'm Triple H or Vince is splitting up the WWE championship again. I don't want that. I love the big gold belt when Flair had the big gold belt, and I loved it at certain other times when other certain guys had the big gold belt. That gold belt is so overplayed at this point. If you've ever seen like cheap knockoffs of the big gold belt, they're horrendous. They're horrendous. It looks like a piece of tinfoil painted gold stuck on a cheap piece of leather, okay, or imitation leather, I should say. That's how bad it looks because that belt can be so generic when they want it to be, all right? And I don't want to see the belt come back. I think that when they unified the titles the last time with Orton and Cena, World Heavyweight Champion on one side, WWE Champion on the other side, became WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Leave it alone. Don't split it up again. It's silly. I don't want it. I think it would have been a bad move. So guess what? If I'm one of the guys in charge, immediately off the bat I say, nope, we're not splitting the belt again. Okay, that leaves us with two choices: traveling champion, or how's about this? A new championship. Well, what do you call it? Okay, so let me ask you a question. If they called it the World Championship, would you have been okay with that? Would you have been okay with that? If they'd said, this is the World Champion, not to be confused with WWE World Champion, this is the World Champion now, and it's a new world title belt. It's not the big gold belt anymore, and it's not to be confused with the WCW title that was a world title, and we took it and made it into the Undisputed Championship with Chris Jericho, and then later on we split the belts again and gave it to Hunter, and then we took the belt from Hunter. And you see what I'm saying? All that stupid history that came along with it, and they kept screwing with it and messing it up. The next thing you know, they're having another title unification. Orton and Cena, and my God in heaven, here we go again. So you want to go undo all of that work by saying, we're going to call this the World Championship. Stop. Okay, stop. It's lame. Let it go. So that choice is out the window. For some reason, for whatever reason, you don't want Dean to travel between both shows. Okay, you're left with the creation of a championship. What do you call it? You could have called it, they should have called that the Raw Championship. And the title of SmackDown should have been the SmackDown Championship. Would you shut up? Please, seriously, whoever said that, shut up and stop talking. Okay, because you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. You mean to sit there and tell me that a title called the Universal Championship has even less value than a belt called the Raw Championship? So what are they supposed to do? Create a belt and put the great big fat red Raw logo on the front of it? Dude, are you high? How much have you smoked tonight? Stop it. Seriously, let it go. I don't care what they called it in the end, because what they needed was a second world title. Okay, if you refuse, for whatever reason, and Vince in all his brilliance refuses to split up the championship again, which, by the way, I'm fine with it, whatever it is, okay? Or excuse me, if Vince refuses to make Dean the traveling champion, and I guess I'll have to be okay with that. I'm definitely okay with not splitting the belt up. But I guess I'll have to be okay with Dean not traveling the world and traveling between both brands, as everyone assumes it would have been, as the second, or excuse me, as the traveling champion. So you want to talk to me about a second title. And for some reason you think it's going to have less value. Dude, again, call it whatever you want. But they were in a position where they had to do this. If they didn't want to have Dean travel and be on every Monday and Tuesday night. And by the way, can I just say this to you right now in all fairness? In all fairness to everybody that believes Dean should travel between both brands, do you want to overexpose Dean Ambrose to the point that he burns out? Or that fans burn out on him, and next thing you know, he crashes and burns, and he no longer gets a pop, and ratings dip every time he's on the air, and they got to go give it back to John? Is that what you want? Dude, think ahead. Think ahead. As an analyst, I can't just look at today. I got to look at tomorrow, man. I don't have a choice. I got to look ahead. Okay, you got to write ahead. You got to think ahead. You don't have a choice. So stop living in yesterday's attitude era. Stop living in today with get into tomorrow if you can. If at all possible, please try. A lot of you already are. I have great conversations with pro wrestling fans and fellow writers as well. Okay, and who've got great heads on their shoulders. They're with me 100%. We complain about the same kind of things. We see the same kind of things. We read the same kind of crap. So there's a lot of you out there. And you know what? God bless you. Thanks for joining the party. Thanks for listening. You're making my life a lot easier. I'm telling you. You really are. Okay? But for as many of you as there are probably at least 2 to 3 others that are just absolutely dense as a rock. And I don't understand why. People are getting so tripped up in the Universal Championship is dumb. It's just stupid. Oh my God. Listen, the Universal Championship means nothing. Okay? It means nothing. You want to know why? Do you want to know why? No, not because it's stupid. The Universal Championship means nothing because there's no history. It means nothing. Okay? Some guy, either Triple H or Vince or Creative or Stephanie, shrieked the answer and made everyone tone deaf within a 10-mile radius. Whatever happened. Someone said the name Universal Championship, and okay, that's where the belt was created. That belt has no history. We've not even seen the title yet, by the way. And I firmly believe it should be a variation of the WWE Championship. Maybe a different color, a different shape, but still with the big WW on the front. I hated that to begin with, but it's who they are. Just let it go. I can live with that. The Eagle's not coming back. Everyone out there that wants to think about the Eagle, dude, stop. Vince considers that old school, is what I've always been led to believe. So it's not going to come back. We'd love to see it because I'm a territory guy. Always have been, always will be. Okay, Flair Country, Crockett for life, just saying. But it's probably not going to come back, so calm yourself over that one, okay? But I think it should be a variation. But Universal Championship has no history. It has no meaning. Therefore, it's worthless. When we see the belt, we could say, hey, it looks good. A lot of other people who hate it already are going to say, this is stupid. Okay, fine. But there is a fact, and the rock solid fact of this is that the Universal Championship has no history, therefore it has no value. Now, how do you change that? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Here's how you change it. You put that belt on someone that can bring value to it. It's not hard, folks. This is simple math. This is 1 + 1 = 2. It's not hard. My 7-year-old could do this math, and he's still learning. I'm just saying. It's not hard. It's not difficult, man. When you want a belt to mean something, you put it on a guy that can add the most value to it. Case in point, United States Championship, John Cena, bam, marriage made in heaven. He brought legitimacy back to the U.S. title. He made it relevant again. He made fans care about it again. That's what he does. That's what John does for a living. He's paid very well, I might add, to make stuff mean something, okay, to make you care about it. You might hate him, but at the end of his promo, you're kind of ready to punch somebody in the face. Either because you hate John and get tired of listening to him. That's mean, I shouldn't say that. Or because he's pumped you up, but that's his job, okay? He's very good at it. He's very, very good at it, okay? But he made people care about the United States Championship. That was his job. He did it expertly, okay? And it meant more around his waist than probably it's meant in the history of the belt even being inside of that company. Not in the past. All right, not the past, obviously, not the territory days, but I'm talking about since that belt came into that company, it's never meant more, and that's the truth. So, what's the answer? Oh, you're trying to say Universal Championship should go around John Cena's way, so they're going to do trade John back to Raw? Shut up. Stop it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is you put that towel around the waist of somebody that's going to do something for it. The two guys that are going to compete at SummerSlam for it, Seth Rollins and the aforementioned Finn Balor. Amazing choices, okay? If you had to pick two guys out of that locker room today, on that roster today, okay, that are not named Roman Reigns, because we're moving on from that. We can talk about that a bit later if you'd like to. It's up to you. I want this to be an interactive podcast. I mean, I'm going to record it and make you listen to it later, but you can always tell me what you thought. That's interaction, right? Okay, good. Good talk. I'm glad we had this. But, nah, dude, if you're going to have two guys on the roster, not named Roman Reigns, on the Raw roster to compete for the newly created Universal Heavyweight Championship of the world, guess what? It's Rollins and Balor. It's the perfect choice. And whoever they put the belt on, and if Finn doesn't win, everyone calm down. It's not over. Take it easy, man. Don't go into cardiac arrest. I love me some Finn Balor. I hope he wins. There's not a lot of drama in as a baby face and as champion. There's not. Vince McMahon tell you that because he loves putting the belt on the heel. Not all the time. Not all the time. I'm just saying. There's more drama in a heel champion. Okay? There really is. There always has been, always will be. Because the thrill is in the chase. The story is the chase. The story is not John Cena, 16-time world heavyweight champion. No one can pin him. There's no drama there. Which is why I believe John's not won the belt again. If it were me, if I'm John Cena, can I be honest with you? I would say that I don't want to win it for the 16th time. I don't want to tie Flair. Now go ask Flair. Flair's good with it. Flair loves John. I mean, they get along famously. So Flair would be perfectly okay with that. You know he would. Stop it. And by the way, quit insulting Flair. Can we have enough of that now? I get that he deserves some of it by the way he acts and stuff, even to this day at his advanced age or whatever, but knock it off. He's still a nature boy. Leave him alone. Jesus. But I would dare say John probably at some point has said, I'm not winning that belt again. I don't want to tie him. I certainly don't want to break his record. We don't want that either, John. Just saying. And by the way, again, no disrespect. Okay? But you put that belt around someone's waist that can do the most with it and can bring credibility to it. Okay? Put that belt on Finn Balor's waist as Universal Champion and talk to me in 4 weeks about how you feel about the title. Because I guarantee you one thing. You'll no longer say, it's stupid. You'll say, wow, dude, that belt means something now. Well, again, did I not just tell you it was easy math? This is 2 × 2 = 4. Do you understand? It couldn't get any easier, man. I'm spoon-feeding you the answers. You're cheating off my sheet like the girl that sat behind me senior year of high school cheated off my sheet in U.S. history class. And I never got a date from her. Isn't that terrible? We got caught, by the way. It's classic. The history teacher was a good guy. He was a coach, actually. He didn't even give me grief over it. He just kept walking. And I'm like, holy crap, I got busted. But guess what? She was pretty and I was not. And I was into her and it didn't go anywhere. Lesson learned. as men, we know how that lesson is learned and how hard it is to learn, yes? That's life, my friends. That's life as a man on this planet. That's what you got to go through if you want to be with the female species. But that's where we're at with this. Universal Championship is not stupid, as a lot of people out there claim it is. Give it time. My God. The second they made the announcement, this is stupid. By the way, I'm having fun doing that. Hope you're having fun hearing it. It's a blast for me. I may do it all day. But let it go, okay? The announcement was made 1.2 seconds later. This is the worst idea I've ever heard. My Twitter blew up. What the stupid idea. I don't think they had a choice, okay? So let it go. My God in heaven. Stop knee-jerking. Dude, we all knee-jerk to the point of just about not having a leg left. So they don't have a leg to stand on. Did you like that one? It's the truth, man. We don't have anything left. And that's the sad part of it. We can't just take it in stride. Now, do I overreact to situations as a writer? Yeah, I'm sure I do. Okay, I'm sure I do. But you got to let stuff go, man. You got to let that stuff go. I'm serious. Take it easy. Take it easy. What else ticks me off? Should have just called this the stuff that ticks me off show. I didn't call it that because it's a bit wordy. Okay, I like to keep it short and sweet. But and I'm not going to give you the guy's name. Don't really care to do that. And again, I don't call people out on my show. I don't call people out on social media. I got no need to. Not going to start now. There's a pro wrestling writer out there, and he describes himself as a student of the game. Okay. I have a major problem with this. First off, I don't talk to this guy on a one-to-one regular basis. Not that much at all, actually. But so maybe, perhaps, he has been in the ring, like yours truly has. Maybe he's been a part of the business, and I don't know about it. I got this to say to you. If you've never been in the ring, you are not a student of the game. That is an insult to the guys in the ring. That's an insult to the guys and gals in the ring who are putting their lives on the line to entertain morons like you who think they have an opinion that we care about. And that's the truth. That's coming from a writer himself, okay? And I usually stick up for our kind, but I'm not going to this time. You are not a student of the game. Stop it. This goes far beyond NFL, and here's why. As I said before, you don't have to have played in the NFL to write an NFL column. Of course you don't, okay? How many guys working for Sports Illustrated or working for ESPN that work on NFL, or for Bleacher Report for that matter, have actually played in the NFL? Probably a very, very small percentage of that, okay? But how many of them play football before in real life? Probably all of them, okay? But how many pro wrestling writers have wrestled? I'm talking about wrestled in the ring, learn the moves, learn how to lock up, call the moves in the ring, take bumps, sweat, bleed, pay the price, as Flair would say. How many of them actually done that? You're not a student of the game, okay? It's not the same as watching the NBA and knowing how the plays are drawn. That's different. Don't talk to me that's the same. It's not, dude. Calm yourself down. It's not the same. It's different, okay? I buy that a lot quicker. Somebody tells me I write about the NBA. I've never played in the NBA, but I'm a student of the game. I play every weekend. I know how the plays are run. You know, I can look at this stuff. You know, I can see things. You know what I'm saying? I can see it in my head. I can see the plays as the players get in formation. I know exactly what they're going to do, what plays are going to run. Dude, I think that's awesome. I can't do that. I can do it to a very small extent. And I love watching NBA. I do. I'm just saying. I'm not capable of doing that. But I can tell you what's going on in a pro wrestling match. I can tell you the ring psychology. I can tell you why so-and-so looked at so-and-so the way they did. I can tell you all that stuff, okay? Number one, because I've been in the ring, because I've been involved in the business and talked to guys and gals who get in the ring and put their lives on the line every time, okay? But also because I study and study and study and research and have been a fan forever, okay? But I've been in the ring. Brother, have you taken a bump? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know how much it was going to hurt. Now, keep in mind, I was 30. I was pushing 30. First time I ever took a bump in the ring. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I laid there, and as I'm looking up at the bright lights, this is no joke, and two guys, they were in the ring with me, looked over me. It was like a scene from a movie. And one of them says, "Are you all right?" And they were laughing. And I'm like, "Give me a minute. Hang on." Dude, I lost my breath. I'm like, God, I cannot believe. I got back up. I said, I can't believe how bad that hurt. And we had an old ring, okay? It wasn't the best of shape. But even then, even so, it still hurt like crazy, okay? And, am I saying that your opinion isn't worth anything if you're a pro wrestling writer and have never been in the ring? I didn't say that. Don't misunderstand me. Am I saying that I shouldn't read your opinion? That you shouldn't go after what you want as a pro wrestling writer? You shouldn't try to write for the biggest companies online. You shouldn't try to I didn't say any of that. I'm not saying your stuff's not worth my time or anyone else's for that matter, but here's what I am saying. If you've never been in the ring, you're not a student of the game, so stop, because you're embarrassing yourself. That's how you lose respect among the guys that you're writing about, and that's the truth. I am proud to say this. Any guy that I've ever written about, any pro wrestler I've ever written about, no matter what company he's in to this day, if you read my stuff right now, you're not going to find one insult. You're not going to find me name calling. You're not going to find me downgrading his position at all, because I try to be articulate. I try to be unbiased where I can. I mean, I have an opinion, and I'll present my opinion to you, but I'm not going to beat you to death with it and tell you this is how it is and this is reality and this is life. By God, you have to listen and agree with me or else. That's not how I operate, man. I've read a lot of garbage out there, okay? Embarrassing stuff. Stuff that makes me embarrassed to be a pro wrestling fan and a pro wrestling writer. I'm not going to name this website. It's a website I used to work for, used to write for. And I stopped writing for them a long time ago, and I was questioned. I got an email several months after I quit writing for them from the editors. It's questioning why, and I was straight up honest with them. I said I read some very disappointing and headlines that I was very concerned about, and I was very disappointed, upset, and angry over what I read, because here's what happened. When Daniel Bryan came back, actually remember when he came back and then suddenly it was announced that he'd gotten another concussion, he was going to miss, and he had to go out for surgery. There was a column written, a slideshow, because they love the slideshows. God bless them, whatever. 10 reasons why Daniel Bryan is effed. And the letters in the word effed were asterisked out, starred out. Okay, now, guess who wrote this piece? An editor wrote this piece. It was a joke to me. I read that headline, I thought, okay, if I'm Daniel Bryan's mom, or his wife, or his sister, or whoever, and I read that, I would take that as a personal insult toward Daniel himself. How dare you? Are you mocking his injury? I got a problem with that. Okay? I don't like that. I think that's ridiculous. And I think you're a douchebag if you write stuff like that. Okay? You're no better than any other regular fan who's a douchebag who ends up behind a laptop and spews out hate toward everyone and everything within a 2-mile distance of him. That's what you are, and you're worthless to me. Okay? And honestly, you put a bad name on all of us. So check this out. Story, I don't know if I've told this on the show before. And forgive me for bouncing. It's what I do. I'm the Tigger of the pro wrestling broadcast, man. It's who I am. Sorry. But you're staying with me, right, though? Yes? Good. Okay. Awesome. So I write a piece. This has been several years ago, by the way. I write a piece on Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I tagged Austin on Twitter. Well, lo and behold, all of a sudden, out of the blue, I check my direct messages one day. Guess who sends me a direct message? Now, I'm going to read you the message. I used to know it, and I probably still know it word for word, but I'm sure I've got it here. There it is. I still have the message saved because it meant a lot to me. It was, and remember, I'm writing for John Layfield at this point, okay, JBL. When he used to run his own blog. And so I've talked to guys. I interviewed Matt Hardy, met Matt Hardy in person, hung out with him for a little bit of the show. I met legends. I met and got to hang out with Jimmy Valiant, Rock and Roll Express, Paul Jones, number one Paul Jones. Thank you very much. The Barbarian, Missy Hyatt. I mean, they've been in front of thousands of people. They've been all over the world. They're legends. Okay, you know what a legend is? Legend. All right. So I've been around some names in my time. Maybe not as much as some other guys have, and that's fine. But Austin by far was the biggest name I'd ever interacted with. And here was his message to me on Twitter. Tom, nice article about Stone Cold Steve Austin and Monday Night Raw. Pretty damn accurate. Those were some damn good times. Nice work, kayfabe this message. To which I responded, and I can't read that part to you now because those messages are deleted now. But my message back to him was short and simple. I said, sir, coming from you, that means a lot. I really appreciate your words. So I went on Twitter right after I read his response or read his direct message, and I said, much respect to Stone Cold Steve Austin for the kind words, a legend, and that kind of stuff. He, within seconds of me sending that tweet, he retweets it and favorites it. And he didn't take a shot at me or anything like that because I didn't say, Stone Cold sent me a message on Twitter and he likes me now. I didn't do it. This is the first time I've read this out loud. I mean, several people know it that know me, like personally. But as far as telling the world, it's the first time I've read it. Okay? Just being honest with you. Why am I telling you this now? Well, here's what happened. This is the skinny on that situation. This happened July 3rd, 2012. God, it's been 4 years. My God in heaven, look out. But, okay, so Raw 1000 happens. I couldn't tell you when it is. Don't have the information right in front of me. My apologies. But I don't know if you recall this or not. Stone Cold Steve Austin was rumored to be there because it's a big deal. It's the 1000th episode of Raw. He didn't go because he had knee surgery, okay? Now, at the time he was filming something, I want to say it was Grown Ups 2. Forgive me if I'm wrong on my timing here, but Austin read a column, or his people did, and they told him about it. He read it after the fact. And what happened was this particular writer, not going to mention names, don't care anymore, speculated that the reason Austin wasn't there was because of the shooting this other thing, that he didn't want to be there, and this, that, and the other. It's underlying tension and all this garbage. And I saw the headline and I'm like, what? Like this kid didn't even know. And I say kid because he was a kid. Trust me. Well, like this kid doesn't even know the situation. He doesn't know the story. Okay. Well, out of the blue, Austin blocks me. I'm blocked. I can't look at his profile. I can't tweet him. I can't direct message him. It's over because he remembered me and assumed that because I'm a pro wrestling writer as well, I'm now the enemy. I'm the enemy, as Cameron Crowe said in Almost Famous. Pro wrestling journalist, the enemy. That's me, right? You got to understand that's how a lot of the boys look at us, and I get it. I get it. I mean, some writers take offense to it, and they don't understand why. I get it. It's because of garbage like that, okay? The kid had a business writing something, speculating on information. He didn't have sources, he couldn't back it up or anything. It was all his guess. And Austin took offense to it, and he published on his own blog, on his own website, here's the real story. If you want the truth, you come to me, not to dirt sheets. And I'm just paraphrasing what he said here. But I was blocked. I've never been able to speak to him again, okay? Because one moron decided that he was the ultimate expert and that he was, I bet he thought he was a student of the game too, huh? Here's what I'm saying to you. Just because we're writing about these guys, and do I tag these guys in tweets and on social media? Of course I do. But why am I doing that? So they'll talk to me on Twitter, so they'll follow me and say, hey, Tom, thumbs up. No, dude, I don't care about that. What I want to do, all right, maybe in the beginning I did. Are you happy? Why not? I'll be honest about it. We're straight. I'm shooting here, right? In the beginning I did. It meant a lot to me to get retweets and favorites and all this other stuff from guys. It meant a lot to me. It really did. But after a period of time, after reading suspect headlines and seeing nonsense online, it occurred to me then, it occurs to me now, I could do the most service by being unbiased, being respectful, and calling it down the middle, and then tagging these guys, okay? So they can read it and maybe not hate our kind so much. That's the truth. That's the God's truth, man. So anytime I can tag someone and I get a response, I've had several responses. I wrote a column one time, didn't get a very good response. I wrote a column one time, was right when they put Curtis Axel with Damien Sandow. I remember when Damien was red hot, or he was still hot, right? And I said that Damien Sandow will help revitalize Curtis Axel's career. Axel went to Twitter and bashed me and called me a moron, whatever it was he called me. Said, you think you know this, that, and the other, and thought I was a complete idiot. So I responded back immediately and I said, I meant no disrespect, sir. I said, I did not insult you at all in the column, and I didn't. I reached out to a couple wrestler friends that I talked to on Facebook, and I gave them a link to the column. I said, do me a favor and read this and tell me, was I insulting? And one of the guys came back and said, well, you weren't insulting. He said, but you were kind of suggesting that he couldn't do anything on his own. So I took that. I took that advice to heart, and I said, you know what? I'm going to have to remember that next time, because I meant no offense by it. I was proud to tag him. I thought it was a good piece, and I thought I meant every word I said, and I thought it was good for him. He didn't think so, not so much. Here's what I'm saying to you. I'm not suggesting that as a pro wrestling writer, as a pro wrestling fan, we need to kiss these guys' butts. I'm not saying that. That's not my job, is to kiss their butt. My job is to give you my analysis. My analysis may not be so very kind towards some guys, but I will not insult anyone. I won't call names. I won't do anything like that. Now, for the sake of being transparent, if you go back 6 years ago to the pieces I first started writing for Bleach Report, I name called. Not curse words, obviously, but I name called. You know, I called Hogan some things and Rock some things, even Undertaker, believe it or not. It's the truth. But you guess what happens over time, folks? You grow, you evolve, you grow up. That's what I did, especially as a writer, okay? I don't do that stuff anymore. But it just bothers me when I read opinions from people who have their favorites and people they don't like, and they decide it's time to just bash people over the head and call names, this, that, and the other. Dude, enough's enough. You got to stop. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing all of us, actually, not just writers, but fans. And you're showing your ignorance, okay? Because when you name call someone, you are asking for trouble. You are losing all credibility, and you're looking like a complete and utter tool. So don't do it. It's not worth it, man. Take the high road. You don't like someone, you can always say, look, I don't care for his gimmick. On a personal level, he seems like an amazing guy, and he probably is a cool guy to hang out with. Fine, I've written just that style before. And I think that if I'm in the business, if I'm in the shoes of Kevin Owens, who really has fun with social media, by the way, if you don't follow Kevin on Twitter, you got to do it, because that dude has a ton of fun, and he should. I'm not kidding around about that. But if I'm following Kevin, or let's say I am Kevin, as I was saying before, let's say I'm in Kevin Owens' shoes, and I'm reading a column by somebody. What do I want to read? That Kevin's fat? No. But I have said this before, and I stick by it. Kevin Owens is out of shape, and I can't believe WWE allows that to happen without trying to get this guy in the gym, because I don't think it's happening. Does that mean I think he's fat? No, I'm fat, dude. It's cool. I don't care. If you're in Ring of Honor, you're in Lucha Underground, or you're, in New Japan, maybe. But, at WWE, I would expect a little bit more out of their guys. I don't mean any offense by it. He's a family man. I am too. God bless him. I'm not suggesting he can't work. Kevin can work lights out. I'm just really surprised that he's still not in physical shape to be in that company, to be in the spot he's in. That's all I said. I don't call him names. That's nonsense, okay? Now, would he take offense to that? Maybe he would. Dude, I don't know. But here's all I'm saying to you. You got to take the high road, and you got to be as professional as possible, okay? Especially in the line of work that I do. Seriously. And if they take it wrong after that, it's kind of out of your hands, because all you can do is just give your opinion, and that's all I'm doing here, folks. Trust me. So here's where I'm going with all this, okay? Bottom line. You ready? Okay, so I don't believe, as I said before, that you should kiss the butts of these guys. I'm not saying that. Don't worship them, okay? You want to know why? Because they're just like us. They're regular guys, regular girls. That's who they are. And they may seem larger than life. They may be larger than life. But I've been around enough of them to know this. They're regular people, okay? Now, if you're not part of the business and you try to hang out with them, or you don't know them on a personal level, don't try to talk shop with them, okay? Now, a lot of the guys appreciate smart fans. A lot of them don't like you, okay? They're going to be nice to you, especially if they're babyface. Does that mean they're a jerk on the inside? No. Calm yourself down. I'm not suggesting they're all bad people, but you have to understand something, okay? If you are not part of their world, you are a mark. And to all of you fans out there who call each other marks and you think you're being insulting, I've read dirt sheets. I've read columns where they call fans marks. They call you a mark. I've read Twitter where they call each other marks as if they're insulting. A mark is a pro wrestling fan. I will say it to the day I'm dead. They're going to put on my tombstone. Here lies Tom. By the way, Tom wanted you to know I'm Mark is a pro wrestling fan. That's what we all are, my friends. We're pro wrestling fans. You want to call me a Mark? Fine. You are too, pal. Unless you're in that business. If you're in the business. You see what I'm saying? But we all are. Okay? We all are Marks. A Mark is a fan. That's it. To them, you're a Mark. Okay? Does that mean that they're talking down to you? No. But it means that you're not one of them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? The next time you as a pro wrestling fan, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. By the way, Universal Championship is stinking. I told you I was going to do it all day, right? When you decide to go call someone else a mark and think you're insulting them, remember this. You're showing your ignorance. And you're dumb. And don't think I can't name call, because I can't. I just won't make mine as vicious as you do. Because, that's how I roll. I'm PG, baby. What can I do? What can I do here? Whatever. You're not insulting anyone. You're showing your ignorance. You're showing your own stupidity. Because a mark is a pro wrestling fan. Nothing more. That's it. It's meant to be such an insult, so derogatory. I had a conversation with Matt Hardy about this more than one time. It was name dropping. Did you catch that? Isn't that terrible? Like, don't kiss up to him, Tom. Right. Whatever. Right? But I did, and it's like he's got my back to from here to eternity on this. Is a Mark is a pro wrestling fan. Stop trying to insult each other using that word. It's dumb. Don't do it, please. But what I was saying is that just like you shouldn't kiss up these guys and worship them as if they're God Almighty himself, don't bash them either. Want to know why? Because there's real men and women. Like I said, they're real people. They're regular people, just like you and me. They just earn a living a little bit differently than we do, okay? But don't insult them either, because they got families. They're real people. You think you can't hurt their feelings? I went on Twitter and I said Lana contributes nothing to WWE. I didn't call her a skank. I didn't say she dressed like a whatever. You know where I'm going with that, right? I didn't say that. I didn't make a comment about her breasts or make a tawdry comments or lewd comments in her direction. A lot of other people have, I see, all the time, actually, okay? I'm not one of them. I never have, never will. But I did on Twitter on a Monday Night Raw, during Monday Night Raw, I said that Lana contributes nothing to Rusev or WWE, despite how everyone loves her. Give me Sherry Martel any day. I meant it. It's the truth. That's how I see it. She blocked me on Twitter because she didn't like what I said. She didn't like what she read. Now, I'm not mad at her for that. I would take it as an insult as well, more than likely. But I didn't say anything about her personally. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's a narrow tightrope that we walk as writers. It really is. Where you don't want to rip on someone on a personal level. It wasn't meant to be personal. But again, if I'm her, I guess that's how I would take it too. So am I guilty of this? Probably to some extent I am. Because this is not an exact science, okay? Even the best of us with the best of intentions can get it all screwed up sometimes, and that's the truth. But you got to be smarter about it, man. You got to be smarter about it, okay? And the smart person knows not to start cursing, not to start making crude and incredibly rude insults, okay? Don't do it. It's ridiculous. There's no future in it. It's nonsense. Don't do it. And speaking of using terms that I can't stand, this is a good one. I've been waiting all day for this one. If I read one more time, my king or my queen, dude, stop. Stop. First of all, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no clue what you're talking about, okay? Number two, stop. It is utter and complete nonsense, okay? He's my king. Roman Reigns is our king. Oh my God. Dude, really? They could say about anyone. I don't care who you're saying about. But dude, there's only one king I know. That's Jerry Lawler. Stop, okay? I sit back and wonder, and just awe and wonder and amazement at the garbage I read on Twitter. Twitter is nothing but a carnival freak show now. It really is. I enjoy it to a certain extent. I have great conversations on Twitter with friends and with people I've met through the business. And I appreciate those people. I do. But when I sit back and look at other people's timelines, and sometimes in my own, and look at conversations or statements or, thoughts or lack thereof of intelligent thoughts or whatever, and I just see complete garbage. And I'm like, this is a train wreck. This is a train wreck in slow motion. Like, this is horrific what I'm reading. Like, my God. Our queen, our king, stop it. Nikki Bella's my queen. Queen Nikki's my Bella. My Bella. You see, it's late, okay? Queen, she's the queen. Nikki Bella's the queen. Oh my God. Bree's the queen too. She's the other queen. Jeez, dude, stop. I can't. I don't. There's not enough words. If I was chose to curse on this program, I don't have enough curse words. I'd need like a 4-hour show to just do nothing but rant on that one topic. It's unbelievable. People just take this stuff. And what's funny is those words haven't been used all the time. It took a handful of people on social media to start doing it, and then we all started doing it. Everyone started doing it, right? Isn't that how trends start? My God in heaven, that's one I just wish would die. Here's the thing. There's a lot of hate online. You guys know that. We talk about the hate that goes on in the world around us, killings and the race war and everything, and black and white and Muslim and Christian and all this other stuff. But there's a lot of you can find online as well. It's not as dangerous. I mean, it can be, of course, but it's not as physically dangerous immediate anyway. Hopefully, a lot of garbage online. You got to learn to filter through it. It's tough as pro wrestling fans. I'm sure that I talked a lot about NFL and NBA this time around, but I'm sure there's hate there as well. I don't know how much there is or how bad it is between their fans, but there's just a lot. And for a sport that's not a truly legitimate competitive sport in which championships are won and lost based upon ability and sheer talent, they're given to guys, we tend to lose a lot of sleep and we tend to take it way, way too seriously. This is supposed to be fun. Now, I try to take it seriously when I write because I don't want anything I write to be considered fluff. I don't want it to be praise pieces. I don't want it to be a fan piece. I want it to be taken seriously. That's how I write. But I don't want you to come away reading my stuff saying, God, dude, lighten up. It's not the end of the world. I want to be the guy saying, dude, lighten up. It's not the end of the world. I hope I'm that guy. Maybe sometimes I'm a mix of both. That's my goal, I guess. But you know what? I get real sick and tired sometimes of the nonsense that I read online. And like I said, there's a lot of hate. Hate that I don't get. I'll never understand it. And I'll still won't understand it to this day. I guarantee you, the moment I stop recording this and go look at Twitter, there's going to be some more hate. I mean, it's pro wrestling, folks. It's grown men in tights in the ring acting like they hate each other. And they're acting like they're trying to really win a belt. And that every single move in the ring hurts. Let me just explain something to you, okay? Do they really hate each other? Maybe. Does every move in the ring hurt? Possibly. Are they killing each other? Well, if they're working stiff, maybe. But guess what? They're both, with any luck, and therefore by the grace of God, will get up after the match is over and go home to their families or go on to the next show and be okay. All right? Stop. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertaining. You're supposed to be having fun with this. Seriously, stop going so nuts over it. Because, dude, there is so much hate. Every time I'm online, I see hate. And this is why I don't argue too much. There was someone one day that I got into it with on Twitter. I don't do that too often, but they called me out in front of everybody. I'm like, I wasn't even talking to you. That was a particularly bad day for me. That was a bad example of the behavior. Good example, I should say, of the behavior I'm telling you not to do, to be leery of or whatever. But again, having a particularly bad day that day, that's what it is. But, I made no excuses. I am who I am, right? But it's stuff like that. It's so easy to get wrapped up in nonsense, We're talking before about Sasha and a legend that mentioned Road Warrior Animal. said that Sasha Banks is getting shoved down our throats. Okay. Is it the dumbest comment you've ever heard? Yeah, it probably is. But someone on my Twitter feed called him, well, he called him a bad name. Curse word, right? And I'm like, what? What? Like, we're going to do that? Like, did I defend Animal because he's a Road Warrior and because Road Warrior's greatest tag team of all time, bar none? That's not why I defended him. I defended him because, hey, you ever hear of a thing called freedom of speech? Here's what I tweeted. Road Warrior Animal is an opinionated legend. Calling him names won't change his mind and makes fans look petty. But yes, I think he's wrong. Do you see that? Did I say I'm an expert? Did I say I know exactly that he's wrong, that he's a moron, he's a douche, he's whatever? No, I didn't say that. I don't have to say that. Do you see where I'm coming from, folks? You got to look at this from every side, okay? You can only base your personal analysis. I'm talking about if you're just a fan, you're not even a writer. You got to, as a writer, you're basing your personal analysis. As a fan, you're basing your personal opinion on what you see and what you read. You don't always know the entire conversation. You don't always know what the other guy said. Don't always assume the worst, okay? At less than an hour after China's dead, everyone's asking me what she died of. It was drugs, wasn't it, Tom? Wasn't it drugs? Hey, Tom, wasn't it drugs? Did drugs kill China? Hey, Tom, wasn't it drugs? Did it kill China? Wasn't it drugs? Dude, she's dead. Stop. Like, you're just assuming, okay? At the end of the day, it's not my concern what killed China. I'm sorry she's gone, okay? If she did something to herself to make her leave this earth early, then she's stupid. Straight up. And no disrespect. But it's the truth. If she did something stupid to take her away from the family that loves her and from her friends and family that valued her as a person, as a human being, that's kind of a dumb move, isn't it? But for me to sit there and hate on her, I'm not going to do that. Not at all. Doesn't matter to me how she left this earth. Okay, whether she did something to herself, it was done to her. I'm sorry for her family's sake. I am sorry that we lost her. That's the truth. I had no animosity towards China in the slightest. But again, within the hour, drugs, it's probably drugs, huh? And everyone started talking about drugs. I'm like, dude, she's not cold. My God in heaven, what's wrong with you people? God knows what will be said. What will be said of us when it comes our time? What will be said of you? Okay? Now, I'm a firm believer in whatever you give, you better expect it back in spades and tenfold. And I'm dead serious about it. If you're a complete jerk to people, you better expect that back at some point. I'm not always the nicest person. You're looking at that big smiling mug on your phone or on your laptop or on your portable device right now, and you're thinking, oh, come on, he's a big teddy bear. I'm not always the nicest guy. Do I get it paid back? You better believe I do in one form or fashion. I always do. Because you get what you give, folks. Okay? So when you go around spewing hate forth like that on situations that are either none of your business or you don't know about or both, then guess what? It will come back to you at some point. Be prepared for the worst. Just saying. That's life, man. That's how life works. It's karma. You ever watch My Name is Earl? Love that show, by the way. Jason Lee's the man. But karma, baby. It's not just a former wrestler in WWE anymore, is it? That's the truth. People upset. People going nuts. People going insane. Irrational. Nonsense. We got to take this thing in perspective. This is supposed to be fun, like I said before. Make it fun. Have fun with it, dude. Don't take it so incredibly seriously. I love the business. I do. And you know what? There was a website that recently ran a poll on Twitter asking who should buy WWE. I guess because UFC just sold and they were just speculating what would ever happen if the McMahon family said we're done. Who should buy the company? Can I be honest with you? It's never even crossed my mind. But it is a publicly traded company. You have to believe it's not going to go away. So what would happen? I can tell you this. That if non-wrestling people ever run WWE, it will fail. Look at WCW. When non-wrestling people were calling the shots, that company failed. And that's what will happen to WWE. Now, I don't wish that on them. A lot of people do. I don't. Well, a lot of people think that independent wrestling, if you don't watch any wrestling, then you're a sellout. Whatever, dude. Whatever. That's like telling me you're not going to watch NBA because college basketball is real and NBA is not. Or NBA is all Showtime and college basketball is the real deal. Stick to your opinion and I'll stick to mine. But for anyone out there to wish death on any pro wrestling company, I've said this before, I've wrote this before, a lot. Listen up, it's a good one. You're not a fan. You say you are, you're really not. You're embarrassing all of us. Okay? That's the truth. Straight up. Because there needs to be as many pro wrestling companies out there as possible. Because the more places guys have to work, the better. Period. Stop thinking about this in terms of TNA sucks. TNA stupid. Stop. You shouldn't wish demise on any pro wrestling company. I don't care how bad the product is. Because remember, from the guys running the cameras to the guys breaking the ring down, everybody in between, these people are feeding their families. They're trying to make their living. And dude, the more pro wrestling companies in operation, the better off we are as pro wrestling fans. Because that means more stability, dude. That equals more time to be pro wrestling fans because the product will still be there in some form or fashion. That's what I want. How can you not want that, man? Seriously, let go of your hate. I feel like I'm Yoda over here. Let go of your anger. Anger, you must let go. Don't make me start quoting Star Wars, dude. I'll do it. I've been watching Star Trek a lot lately. Don't call me names. We've covered that. It's mean. But I'm talking about the J.J. Abrams stuff, by the way. I like the original too, but nothing beats Star Wars. Where did I get off on that? So this wasn't as much of a fierce shoot as you've probably heard before. And can I be honest with you? It may not be the only edition you hear. There might be a part 2 at some point. So we'll see. It could be a multi-part series. I could do like 38 parts of this. Who knows? Who knows? I got a lot more time. Hopefully you do too. So okay. So we're going to start taking this home. I'm going to start plugging the stuff here. But hang tight. It won't take long. This podcast, Tom Clark's Main Event, episode number 57. We've been going for a while now. We do appreciate you coming on board and listening. If you like what you hear, I really suggest and hope that you do, go check out our sister podcasts. We've got 2 of them now. The first is Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour, which you'll have to forgive us. We've not updated in quite some time. We're going to soon, I promise you, and get some more material on board. That podcast is done by myself and good friend Kyle Smith. The artwork that you see on the Boink Studios page, which is tomclarkbr.wix.com/boink, in regards to the logo, as well as the artwork done for Tom Kyle's Comedy Action Hour, is done by Kyle. He does freelance work. He's an exceptional graphic artist, graphic illustrator. He's available for freelance work. Drop us a line on Twitter, boinkstudios@yahoo.com, or Boink Studios on Twitter, and let us know, because he will get back to you in due time. And he's available. If you like the music that you heard on this show and on Tom Kyle's Comedy Action Hour, the man's name is Philip Fender. He works under the Boink Studios banner as well. He's also available for freelance work. Please give us a shout, either on Twitter or on email. We'll be glad to hook you up and get you some great tunes rolling. That's good stuff, right? By the way, everyone congratulate Philip. He just got married. Hey, hey. So there you go. Now, the third podcast. Yes, folks, there's a third podcast under the Boink Studios banner. It's Tom Clark's 30-minute fun show. That's right. It's me and my 7-year-old kid, Wesley. How cool is that? We got episodes recorded, programmed. They're going to be dropping. We're going to go for a schedule of every Tuesday and every Monday and Thursday. Every Monday and Thursday, as long as we can keep it up. It's just 30-minute shots. So if you enjoy just a bunch of funny nonsense from a grown man and his 7-year-old kid, you got to subscribe and download today. Go to iTunes where you found us, or on Google Play where you found us, and you should find us on both of those as well. Again, that's Tom Clark's 30-minute fun show. 3 podcasts, man. I love it. I'm having the time of my life doing this stuff. It's fun stuff. I'm not kidding around. If you would like to read WWE material by yours truly, we talked about Bleacher Report. You can find me there. Please go check me out. Also check me out on Sportskeeda. I'm there as well. And as well as the much ballyhooed, highly anticipated, often imitated, never duplicated, the very highly esteemed Camel Clutch blog. Eric Gargiulo, always hope I pronounce his last name right, runs Camel Clutch, and it's an excellent blog. Yours truly is there as well. Please check me out. I run my own blog as well, tomclarkbr.wix.com/blog. All the material on that blog is written by yours truly. All the material written on the Boink website is written by yours truly as well. And on the Boink website, we cover other stuff. It's comic books, it's movies, podcasts, TVs, things like that, movies. So it's good stuff. I think we've covered everything. You can find me on Twitter, by the way, TomClarkBR on Twitter. If you'd like to drop me an email, you can. Perfectly fine. I'll answer it. I'm a nice guy sometimes. TomClarkBR@yahoo.com. I think we have covered all our bases. I think we've hyped everything we want to hype. Again, we'll probably do another episode of this nature in the very near future. I don't usually rant and rave too awful much on the show. I have been on a soapbox time or two, but I usually let you know when it's coming. But I just want to have fun and enjoy the business. And I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want to enjoy the writing. And I hope that you're enjoying reading what I write as well as listening to these shows, because I'm having a blast doing them for you. So let me know what you think. Give us some feedback. Thank you so much for your patronage. We do appreciate your business. And remember that all the products we offer through Boink Studios are free of charge. All you need is just a mobile device and a wireless internet, dude. Got Wi-Fi, we'll hook you up, fool. So check us out, man. We do appreciate it. That's it for me, man. I'm out. Thanks much. Click the links in the bio of the show. Go check out our websites. Read the stuff. We appreciate it. And we will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.